Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Pub Table Racers. This is show number 49, which means 50 will be next week. My name is Tim Packman. Sitting next to me is the knowledgeable, beer-drinking, great guy, fabricator.
Yeah, I didn't know you were going to throw all that in here.
Well, if you zip it for a minute, you get to the point.
Usually you don't. Usually you just tell me.
I'm in a really good mood tonight.
Oh, okay.
So let me get through all that. Fabricator extraordinaire, great guy. You want something built, this guy can do it. He's a great friend, Warren Brosell.
Warren Brosell.
There you go. I was saying friend. And I'm just the guy that pushes the buttons over here. Thanks for being with us. Tonight's guest is Kevin Bono Manion, crew chief extraordinaire. That's my word tonight. Championship, multi-time, Daytona 500 winning. What did we say? Brickyard.
The threes.
Coca-Cola 600.
Yeah, the threes.
No, I didn't get that. Didn't get that one.
You didn't get that one?
Bank of America 500.
Bank of
Oh, it was.
anyhow, the 600 mile.
Second in the 600.
All right, that's fine. So
Okay.
no one gets a ring for that.
Yeah,
And no one remembers that except you.
Why, you get rings for that?
Yeah, oh, hey, we'll talk about that.
Rather
We
not.
have a great show. He's going to come and talk about his time at Dale Earnhardt Incorporated and all the great
I can
times.
show you what one of them looks like.
Okay, I've lost control.
Me and him are probably going to jab on each other.
That's fine. That's great. That's what it's for. All right, before we get to that, my friend, we are called Pub Table Racers, and Warren, we have in front of us a bucket of beer.
A bucket of beer.
Miller
yes.
High Life,
Miller
yes.
High Life.
Yeah, so
We drink it for in honor
Honor
of
of?
Bobby Allison, our most favorite driver as young men.
That's right.
And we also both
good
worked
friend.
for him at
Right.
one point in time and respect him. So
Yep. So we
And
drink. I don't take a
I'm
sip.
from Milwaukee, and I've always
Right.
drinking High
And
Life,
we
so.
figured if we're going to do a pub table racing show, we got to have a bucket of beer.
That was a good gulp. No one can call you out on that one.
First one today, as my dad says. You can't say the same.
Yeah.
Warren's prepping mine a little different. I write things down. He slurps them down.
Right,
That's good.
I get lubricated before the show.
You get your vocal cords. Happy birthday to my brother Jim Packman out in Vegas. We say thank you to him. He's been very helpful. The camera and the tripod was my, what do you say, Christmas and birthday present.
Good.
So it's New Year's.
Jim's
So
a great guy. Happy birthday, Jim.
53rd birthday.
Boy, he's just a pup, isn't he?
And my sister Cheryl will be turning 51 on Friday, I think.
Okay.
All right. Before we get going, this show is brought to you by, we'll save like no one last, RacingJunk.com. Anything and everything you want and need, apparel, cars, buildings,
Right.
motorhomes.
Intake manifolds, headers,
Sure.
to old tires,
Gates.
Kniffler pins.
carburetors, muffler bearings,
Blinker fluid.
blinker fluid.
They have it all there. So go check out RacingJunk.com. They've been a great partner of ours. And also our friend Aaron Brown at the Garage Shop. The Garage Shop 200.com. Check them out. Check out their Facebook. They are back to building the Bonneville Salt Flat
Yeah, they
cars.
got some cool stuff
Yep, they
coming.
have the Dodge Daytona number 71 that they built. And he's got some great things going on. Go check him out. He has great apparel. And we're going to pair this one up with an announcement we have in a minute. Our #1 sponsor, Lake Number and Patio Game Rooms, Brad and JoJo over there on Brawley School Road near Canvasback. Go check them out. If you want custom made outdoor furniture for like around your pool, your deck, whatever, go see them now. Because I talked to him today. He said,
Very high quality stuff.
and it lasts forever. It's worth every penny.
Yeah.
If you
a
go
lot
in
of composite, high quality,
Yes. Yeah, it doesn't.
good outdoor furniture,
It's
and or man cave stuff.
Man cave stuff. So go check it out. He said now if you get your custom orders in now, they'll be coming in about April. So now's the time to get those. Plus he has the game room downstairs. What does he have there?
He's got shuffleboard.
Right.
He's got pool tables. He's got air hockey. He's
Pinball,
got the
tabletop
other kind of
hockey.
hockey.
Yeah, the
He's
good
got
stuff.
darts.
Right, and guitars and anything you see on the wall.
Yeah, other kind of crazy apparel.
Right on the wall. Whatever he has on the wall, everything's for sale there. So go check it out. Great artwork too. And if you're a rock and roll fan, there you go. Arcade New York is dialing in. That's pretty good. That is in the southern tier of Western New York.
Arcade or arcade?
Arcade.
Arcade.
Arcade, like the game thing.
Is that still
someone breaking into your beer? So we have an announcement to make tonight. Shall we do it?
Do it real quick.
Okay. Remember our past guest, Rich Pickle, and a friend of ours as well
Yeah.
for many years.
Former also a cheesehead. I can't say.
Still a cheesehead. Still a cheesehead. Did something in Pub Table Racers. will be on the number 45 Chevrolet in the ARCA race.
The bumper cover.
And the bumper cover, we got the whole bumper cover. And so that's kind of cool. We go from...
We got a decal on a race car.
Well, we got a big one. Like, this goes the whole bumper
Nice.
cover. And so we're on that. So we're showing our support for that. So I'm telling you what, if that gets on TV, you're going to hear two guys screaming like little kids go, look, we're on TV. So that's kind of cool. We got that going on.
Maybe a couple people listening.
Maybe a couple people. Maybe they'll sign on to YouTube. Hint, hint. So there you go. What's this? George Williams says, awesome. If people check you out, they will be hooked. That's the plan, George. We appreciate it. So in addition to Pub Table Racers being on the race car, our good friend Brad, he's jumped in. He's got a decal on the C-post. So he's going to be part of it too. So part of this show is going to be on our
Brad
car.
at Lake Norman
Patio and game room.
Game
Right,
room.
exactly. So here's the Brad, here's that, and here's to you and I.
Cheers,
for,
Brad.
Being on a race car. I'm talking the bumper cover, folks. The TV bill. We got it all. So I heard the decals up, and that'll be cool. That'll look great in Victory Lane, wouldn't it?
Yes.
I hope he gets in front of somebody who has a camera, so we can really get it that way.
Yeah, I might DVR it just to...
Just do some screenshots. So I'm sure I'll be taking some pictures. Happy Groundhog Days, right? We're gonna keep repeating our drinking. That movie was on over and over and over today. Did you know that?
I didn't.
I just saw it.
I didn't think that was one of his better movies, to be honest with you.
Cult following.
But anyways,
In news today, Pitbull, the entertainer.
not the dog.
No, announced part of Trackhouse.
I don't know nothing about that guy.
Trackhouse. Oh,
I'm
yeah,
going to
so-
be sarcastic.
I read it. But here's the deal. He's a big time Latino star. He's a crossover pop. He's a part owner now in the Trackhouse racing team. Daniel Suarez is the driver. He's very big in this. He has a slam school, which stands for. So he was on the
What's
Zoom.
a slam school?
It stands for something just to help kids in Miami, and he's
Okay.
opening up in other cities around the country. He was on a Zoom call today, so I jumped on. I got to tell you something. I was very impressed with his enthusiasm, his reasons for doing this, and just the whole way about it. It wasn't like he was just like, I'm here. Like I hate to use this name,
You think
Bobby
he's in
Kid.
for the long haul?
I think he's in for the long
right.
haul.
Let's see.
Because he's got the
A lot of
resources.
these guys can't cut
I
it.
understand. They're like, what? How much does everything cost?
Yeah.
But no, he was. I mean, his enthusiasm. I think I was like,
You want to make $1 million in racing? Start out with 10.
And so anyhow, so he was on. So that's kind of cool. So look for that. And then one other thing, the Truck Series announced that they're going to 40 entries, and if there's no rain out, they said they can do 43. But you know what? You know what'd be
Speaking
really
of
cool?
the Truck
You know what'd be
Series.
really cool?
Yes.
If we had a crew chief
If
in the
we
Truck
had a-
Series to talk to us about that.
Yeah, if we had a guy that we both know pretty well
good.
and
Maybe he's one of
that I've annoyed a
500.
few times, I'm sure.
Well, I know I did. I know I did.
All right, let's bring him on.
So here we are. Kevin Bono, man, he's going to join us. Started out in the modified ranks up in New England. Came down here.
He's happy I got Yingling on draft.
He had to have a special beer.
He's the guy who actually told me about
Okay,
Yingling.
okay, got it.
I remember years ago, he's like, yeah, they don't sell Yingling down here. And I'm like, what's this
Yeah, they do.
Yingling, you know? And then he
Have
gets
to
here.
bootleg it down?
Yeah, and then
Oh, it's good.
they
All right.
started serving it at Vinny's. I'm like, wow, hey,
All right.
you know what? It's pretty good beer.
Let me finish the introduction before we get talking about beer.
Okay, go
All right.
ahead.
Daytona 500 winning crew chief, two-time Xfinity champion crew chief, the 600-mile race at Charlotte winning crew chief, Brickyard
500.
500.
The-
Brick, oh,
the
that's right.
fall race.
All right, so I gave you 100 extra miles. Brickyard 400 winning crew chief, and now currently the crew chief at GMS Racing for Zane Smith, where you have won a lot of races and finished second in points last year. Kevin Bono, man,
And
thanks for being on.
we
Cheers.
both both think that kid's got a lot of talent.
Yes, he does.
by the way.
Welcome to the pub table,
Mm-hmm.
and glad we had your draft down there for you.
Yep.
So
I got a
he's
coach
got
driver.
it,
Dave.
Yeah, no match
high
pick.
tech.
No
Yeah.
match
Oh, you come here. Everyone comes here. We take off our shoes. We just get. Yeah, we'll take our shoes off.
Was that pub food that just
That was the
He
waiter.
was a taco bake.
That was the waiter. He took his food right in the game room there. So thanks for being on. Okay, so let's go back. You started in New England in modified ranks, working with, and we're going to bring you to how you got here.
So it's, getting my age up now. So I guess I started. It was Bobby Fuller's where I kind of got my start in the modifieds. It was close to the house. I could hear cars running. I went to school with his son Robbie, and that's kind of where I got my start. And then the garage I worked at, there we ran some late model cars at Riverside Park every Saturday night. And Thompson Speedway, we were close to there, and Stafford Speedway. So But it was the love for modifieds that drove me to quit my job.
Doing
my,
what?
My good paying job. I'm a licensed plumber.
Really?
Okay. So after a few years of that, it was my birthday, and work was slow, so they moved me to the service department, gave me a beeper and a van, and I'm like, well, for my birthday, I'm going to quit. And the opportunity was there to go full-time racing.
What birthday was that?
I don't even remember.
Okay, early 20s?
Yeah,
Right.
so the opportunity to go full-time modified racing and get paid for it. So
Right.
so I ended up doing that for a company called Sheba Racing, and
Yep.
they were successful with Jeff Fuller. And I worked there. And then when Jeff Fuller moved south, we ended up picking up Steve Park and Tommy Baldwin Jr. Came on as the. He basically took my job as crew chief. But, he was probably more suited for it anyhow at the time, but I wouldn't say that today. But
Wow.
but so that's where I kind of got my start in modified racing, and this week is Speed Weeks, and Tommy keeps his my shop now, and
So you got over it that you guys remain friends?
Yeah.
Okay.
so we ended up moving here together. That's down the road, but
Yeah.
it's just ironic that I worked for his dad in I think the fall of '92 or the spring of '93 at New Smyrna for Speed Weeks,
Right.
and now Tommy, I talked to him today, and he's loading up and headed there Friday morning at 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. or something. So it kind of went full circle, and I think I told you guys driving in here, Justin Bonsignor, the modified champion the last couple of years, his dad lives 4 or 5 houses down,
Okay.
so small world,
So
a lot
Warren's
of,
not the only famous resident of the street, is that what you're saying?
that is correct. I think there's somebody else.
There's Stephen Wallace.
Yeah, I heard Stephen, yeah.
Tony Cardamone,
Yeah.
another Penske employee on the other side.
Yeah.
Right on.
It's just called Race Car Loop. Change
Yeah.
the name.
There's a guy, Steve Johns,
Yeah.
who has a whole mantle.
Apple. That's Apple, right?
I don't know. He's got a mantle
That's
full of
Jobs.
wallies.
Okay, got it.
He didn't get it.
Drag
No,
racing.
that's Steve Jobs.
get
Oh,
and John.
Jobs.
I
You're
didn't
thinking,
get
the
it.
computer stuff.
I didn't get it.
Yeah.
Apple's something that you shoot off a head with
So
a
that was
barrel.
modified racing. Up there was a lot of fun, and with Jeff Fuller moving down, and Tommy and I, we went to work for Greg Sachs.
Oh, there's a name, yeah.
The first race at Miami Homestead, the first race they had there, we entered a Busch car. I know we qualified 10th, but we came down for the whole week, and Greg was like, "Hey man, you gotta get this car done. It just needs a couple things, We get
Right. All we lack is finishing up.
we
Building it.
we get to this shop, and there's and no ductwork, no crushed panels,
Nothing.
no. We were waiting for UPS for the gear and transmission to show up. I mean, but we had a lot of fun. We went
Wait,
there.
and the race, and this was when? And the race was when? So was the time
We flew there after the last race at Thompson.
Okay.
That was a Sunday night. I remember getting on a plane out of Logan Monday morning and flew to Winter Park, and Greg picked us up, and then we got the car ready, and it's this guy's place named Joe's, and that's how he answered the phone, Joe's. And Monday night was beer night. Everyone that showed up brought a 6-pack, 12-pack of beer.
On Monday.
It was a really, I don't think it matters.
No, it doesn't matter.
No.
So, but that's how I kind of got the move south. Working. Sachs had a deal, and he was starting on a racing school, and so we went home after the first race at Miami. There was a lot of people that didn't make the race. Like I said, I remember we qualified. I think it was 10th. But went home, and then I don't know. A couple weeks after that, Tommy called and he says, "You ready?" I said, "For what?" And he says, "Moving south, leaving in the morning. You going or not?" I said, "Let me call you back in 20 minutes."
Well, now, what were you doing then? You were just
So I was working on a modified team.
okay. Got it.
Like I said,
Winging a prayer.
we finished the race, and Tom. I remember we won. I used to not go to Victory Lane. I never went to Victory Lane that race. Loaded the car up. I remember Tommy and I were the first one to get to Thompson. We played golf. We went to the clubhouse afterwards, celebrated, and I was the last one to leave there. Brought the hauler back to Marlboro, shut it off, and went to Logan basically. So,
Wow.
but it was a lot of good times then. But
So in that 20 minutes, you just figured out what you want to do with your life?
So 20 minutes, I said, okay, I got my truck, I got my house.
Right.
I actually owned a house. I was an overachiever back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks to my mother, who used to make me save like crazy.
Yeah.
So I rented my house to my sister. I called Tommy back in 20 minutes. I said, all right, I'm going to catch the last ferry to Long Island. So I had a red pickup, Chevrolet pickup. I threw 2 trash bags, a stereo.
Gotta have music.
Yeah. And I don't know.
My 8 tracks.
I think that's about it.
All right.
So went to Tommy's house over there, loaded up his dad's trailer, put it in his dad's lot there. He had a parts store and a repair shop, put for sale on it, and we drove to North Carolina.
Wow.
Stayed at exit 28. That morning we called a realtor, and before you know it, we had a house and furniture and
You buy or rent?
rent.
Okay, you're renting.
Now this is first of all,
10316.
let's bring everybody up to speed. This is probably what you said, 95-ish.
This is 95. Yeah.
95. Okay.
There's nothing at exit 28
No,
but a
it is
McDonald's
not. Right,
maybe,
yeah.
and a Holiday Inn or something, or I mean.
Yeah.
So just so everybody realizes,
Yeah.
You weren't here for Hugo, but you could still see the damage of Hugo probably over there. You know, when you got here. But anyways, there was nothing here. There's nothing here. So exit 28 is pretty barren.
Here,
Yeah.
off of 77.
I don't even know the stock car.
Irish Q.
That was the
Right,
stock
oh, I
car
remember that
cafe
place,
there yet?
Not yet.
No.
Not yet.
The Irish
Okay.
Q was about it.
So you got the house. It's you and Tommy Baldwin.
Me and Tommy.
Now now I think there's a story where that didn't last long, did it?
No, anyone that wanted to move down, I know that like we needed help, so I called my friend Gary Putnam,
Oh yeah, Gary. Yeah.
and Gary moved down. Went through apartment 3A.
Right.
Eddie DeHunt 3B. Robbie Fuller was 3. So Steve Park actually got he got a room.
Oh,
The rest
yeah.
of them were like Shay's Lounge or a couch or. But
God,
a lot of
the
people.
floor and
Ray Home, he was there.
Right. Wow.
But they came down and it's, hey, this is the place to be if you want to be in racing. You got to get down here.
Pretty successful
Yeah.
little
You think
house you're running there.
You
Yeah.
think like here you guys are all sharing. You're talking about chaise lounge, couches, whatever, and not knowing what your futures are. Race
Right.
winners,
Crew
500
chiefs.
champions,
Yeah.
team owners, and we go. It's just kind of weird. Like you would take a snapshot
Yeah.
back then and say, "No, here we
Like
are
I say,
today."
pretty successful
Very,
group.
yeah.
What he's talking about.
Right.
I paid the rent. I mean, I divvied it up by
Yeah,
3
sure.
or 4.
Yeah, good.
So you were kind of the accountant. Of
Well, I had to be.
Yeah, because
Oh, because no one else is responsible, right?
The only one that ever gave me a hard time and cheated me out of it was Steve Park.
I was just going to say, he was a driver then, wasn't he? Was he driving?
Yeah.
Okay, so he was
Yeah.
a driver.
he had the most money of all you guys.
The best paid one on the deal and
Yeah.
did the least work.
He always nickel and dimed. But anyhow,
That's awesome.
so that was 3A, 3B, 3C. So
Yeah,
that
I
was,
got it. Yep.
that was a good old house. Had a lot of fun there. 10316 Bond Mead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So from there, then you guys all.
Well, Tommy ended up. So that deal with Sachs, it almost happened, maybe happened. It didn't happen. So then we used to go out and take rides around just to come home to check the answering machine. like see if anyone called.
Yeah.
Right.
God, this is weird.
Yeah.
I remember going to the basketball game. That's when the Hornets were in a little round.
The Coliseum there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We come home and the lights blink and we're like, yes.
Somebody called.
Somebody got a job.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Just want to show your car warranty's up.
Yeah.
Busy for that. All right. So who was the first one that got a job out of the group?
So we drove to Doug Hevron was a modified driver.
Oh, yeah.
We drove to Abington, Virginia, to
Yeah.
Charlie Henderson's shop because Doug was potentially going to drive that. So he was trying to help us out, and then did a little bit of work here and work there. And I ran into Jeff Fuller out one night, and he said, "Man, why don't you come help us?" So I went over there and helped one weekend, and I remember crush panel on a car, and Steve Plattenberg, the owner there, one of the owners. said, "Man, can you stick around?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I guess so. I ain't got nothing else to do."
Right.
Let me check
But
my
in the meantime, Tommy was also working nights for Ray Everham when they revived the 25 and
over at Hendrick.
over at Hendrick.
Okay.
And Larry Hedrick,
Right.
Motorsports, had just lost Waddell Wilson had left, and They were bringing in a new crew chief, and they needed help in a bad way, because we were coming up on going to Daytona in 3 or 4 days. So
Was that with Steve Grissom?
that was Ricky Craven.
Okay, with
got it.
Craven. Okay.
Yeah, Scott Maxim was
Wow.
the manager, and Charlie Presley was the crew chief.
Yeah, okay,
so,
I remember. Yeah.
So Tommy went up there and gave him my name, and Scott Maxim called me, and I drove up there that day and had a job. We were going to Daytona within a week, So and that was a fun, eye-opening experience. That was
Where was that located?
96.
Where was that shop
Statesville.
located? Oh, so it was local.
Yeah.
Okay, so how's it eye-opening?
Is that the one? It's right on the highway on 40.
Across from where the two race
Okay.
cars are now. It was.
So how's it eye-opening?
What's that?
What you did there that you said made it.
Just
How fast it went down.
how fast everything went down.
Yeah.
We had nothing, and then it was like bam. I was we went to Daytona. No gear rule. I was the underneath guy. No gear rule. We changed engines multiple times. We went through 3 different engine manufacturers. Well, it was all Chevrolet, but engine builders.
Engine builders, yeah.
Second round qualifying, trying to make the
I remember
500.
those days,
When it used to be like holy.
Yeah, you're scrambling. You got yeah.
So
You can say shit on the show. It's okay.
you can.
Yeah, we don't drop F-bombs, but shit's
Or
okay.
compound words.
That's okay.
Will Gray just chimed in. So.
Will did.
Yeah. Will and Mike.
I haven't even got to his part yet.
I know. I'm
Yeah,
just
we're
saying.
not
We're not. Just say. Well, then it was Mike Wallace, Will Gray, and Mike Wallace. So all kinds of famous people coming in here.
So, that was a Kodiak car?
Yeah, Kodiak had all the chew in the back of you ever
Oh, yeah.
wanted.
So you had a white shirt on, and you changed probably 15 gears, and you never owned a white shirt again.
No white shirt. that was. So I started there in the week or so before Daytona. Last race was Atlanta. Then I was the only guy other than the crew chief on the road crew that was the same, and I was like, man, why do these people want to leave the job?
Right.
So Tommy had left to go work for Harry Ranier.
Big name, yeah.
And Tommy called me and said, man, you got to come over here. I'll make you the car chief. I'm like, shoot, I'm ready. Everyone else left the team. Why shouldn't I?
Right.
So I went over there, met Harry Ranier and Lauren Ranier, and Tony Stewart was going to drive. We actually went to Daytona testing. That's when you could test for 3 days and 2 drivers and 2 cars.
Yeah.
So I had Stewart in my car, and Tommy had Greg Sachs in his car. And I remember the day that Harry Ranier come out of the office, just to help get Tony in the car, and basically, said, man, we had to let Tony go. And I think Lauren is the one that kind of spearhead that. Still doing a great job of that today for Chevrolet. Lauren is, but Joe Gibbs, they basically signed Tony away to Joe Gibbs, and that's how his career started.
Could you imagine
Right.
if you had the funding for Tony Stewart? Then?
Yeah, so but that team, Harry Ranier, put a lot of. We had a Hardee's car, so that was really cool with his history with Hardee's. But also had a it was a Ranier Walsh was the team, and
That was Bobby Allison's old building.
So the Walsh side of it didn't pan out, and like I said, it just didn't happen. Back
Right.
then it took. It's like today, it takes money. It just didn't happen, and it was May Charlotte. We went to the racetrack, and our transporter wasn't there, and the car was decaled up, Maglite. It was a really good-looking car. So a few of us said, "Where's our trailer?" I don't know. We drove over to the shop, and it was basically locked up, and it was a guy there. I don't even remember who it was. But boys were done. Sorry,
So you had no jobs,
no jobs.
but you went to the track to find out.
Yeah, we
my
loaded.
gosh.
We loaded, and that was when it was
Wow.
Wednesday night qualifying.
Yeah.
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 So, so Steve Park was living at the house now, and Tommy ended up moving to Virginia to do the
Morgan McClure.
no, the other Virginia, Richmond, Virginia, to do
okay.
Junie Dunleavy's deal,
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
and with Dick Trickle,
Okay.
and so Park was there. He said, "What are you going to do?" I said, "Shit, I don't know." So he said, "Well, here," and at that time we went to the one and only place in town that was open. But Ty Norris was the general manager for Dale Earnhart.
So what Steve was driving for DI at the time.
He was
Yeah.
driving
Yeah.
DEI
Okay,
in the number 3 AC
Bush,
Delco car.
Right.
So he said, and I'd known Ty from being around Steve and went out and going on the lake and whatnot. So Ty said, "Well, come over. I'll introduce you to to Pops. Everyone knows Pops, you
Tony
know.
Earnhardt Sr.
Tony Earnhardt Sr. And I remember my first time meeting Pops.
So wait a minute. A kid from Boston.
No, the North.
The North.
The
I'm
North.
sorry.
Yeah, the North.
Yeah,
Okay,
see,
the North.
Get it right.
All right, North. From the North. And then
Upper Midwest,
okay,
I like
right.
to say.
From the North. meets Tony Earnhardt Sr.
Kannapolis.
North Carolina.
Right.
Yeah, so that was an eye opener for sure. Like, oh.
Interpreter.
He was looking for a fabricator, and I was.
No, I'm
I
saying,
mean,
did you need an interpreter? I almost did a couple times.
Yeah, because the
And-
no, but I remember when here's Bono, he's friends with Steve, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And he says, "Can you weld a spoiler again?" And I'm like, "I'm sure I could, but I need a
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh boy."
Yeah.
So we left
And we don't
in.
pull no punches.
no, there's no grade. It's
Yeah.
here to there. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's
You're
where
in or out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was, like I said, I wasn't from Kannapolis, but I was out. But there was some other people on that team from Massachusetts. So Graham was from Massachusetts. So.
Okay.
But so we went out of there.
So
and
you got the job.
Ty says, "I think I got something for you to do."
Okay.
You know, like sorry, you know. But Pops and I are good
Yeah.
today. You know.
Yeah.
It's good
Oh,
after
yeah,
that, too, you know,
absolutely.
but so that's when Dale Jr. was getting out of late models and doing some part-time Busch deals, and basically it was kind of the chance team. The late models were the chance, and I was kind of there. The next step was to do that. So Pops had donated us a car, and we had an old car from I don't even know where,
Right.
but we worked on it at the Deerhead shop, and we loaded up in a dually and we drove to Michigan. We
Now,
drove to
who
St.
all
Louis.
drove? Who all drove with you?
So I think I was like the senior guy at 23 or something, and Wesley Sherrills and Dale Jr. and then another boy, I can't remember his name, but they would call him like one man gang. He was pretty heavy duty, you know.
Okay.
Like, so we start driving, and like when I drive, I like just go. I mean, I can go for days. It feels like. But,
But Dale Jr.'s riding the dually with you.
oh yeah,
Oh, yeah. So
So
he started out.
So
with
this
all
was
you
this
guys.
was to I think St. Louis or Michigan. I don't know, but this one man gang. He's
So
like,
this
we
is
gotta
this-
eat.
This is a 14 or 15 hour
Yeah,
drive.
yeah, and we want to
Yeah.
get it done with. And
Yeah.
we started. He's like, we gotta eat. Yeah, we can hit a drive-through or something. No, we need a pancake house.
Okay, Carlos. Nice.
So I'm pretty sure we stopped there. But the one thing I do remember the trip pretty vividly is Dale Jr. You know, like it was boring, right? He wanted some music, and he wanted some. Back then, I think you had DVD or CDs, right?
Yeah,
The
sure.
Walkman.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the Discman. Yep.
So we stopped to get gas, and I had the company credit card. You know, like I said, I was a senior guy.
Sure, 23.
So yeah, so I go in to pay, and I come out, and the door's locked and dually, and he's in the driver's seat. He says,
Oh.
"You're either getting in, or you're driving me to the Walmart or Target or whatnot."
So
And
he
I'm
could
like-
get some music.
So he gets some music. So
All right.
I agreed to drive him there, so we went over, and he come out with $100 worth of CDs and a Walkman. And on the way we went, but
Nice.
it was a good time. It was fun. I remember we broke down one time. We had to call Steve Chris and get a Chevrolet dealership.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Good guy.
but from there, you know, that was, and then at the same year or so, where Dale was starting his Cup program. He was starting to build Garage Mahal.
Yeah.
So I mean, we were part of that working in the Deerhead shop. He hired a crew chief and Felipe Lopez, and it was the 14 Cup car with Burger King, and Steve was a driver, and we went to Watkins Glen and a couple other races. But that's kind of where I got my start at
It was
DEI.
black with flames in,
Yeah.
in 14.
Yeah, and so that year Steve
And then he
drove
got
a few
hurt,
races.
right? That's when he got hurt.
That was
he
the
got hurt.
following year.
That was fun.
That
He
was
got hurt in
following-
the
Pennzoil.
Okay.
Right.
Following year.
So he drove a little part-time
Yeah,
schedule.
just he still was racing the Busch car full time, and then we ran ran Dale Jr. in some Busch races, and then we ran Steve in some Cup races,
Okay.
and we worked Saturdays and Sundays.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We ate squirrel stew, and that's no lie, and it was good times.
Wait,
We were-
back up. Like actual squirrel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
Okay.
Taylor shot. You know, like
Yeah.
a lot of good memories from DEI. You know,
What's your best
Great
Dale
friends.
story, real quick?
Yeah. Well.
We all got one.
Um,
He must have said or did
So,
something
okay,
to you that you
okay,
remember.
So the first time you met him, that's what everyone always talks about. The
Look at
first
you.
time they. Yeah.
Or
or
it's just
something. Yeah.
something that
Take them both. We'll take them.
well, I mean, I guess the best one was he knew I really liked to hunt, and I wasn't able to hunt, but he obviously had a lot of land around.
Yeah.
So Dale Jr. got me one time. He says, "Daddy said come get you and take you hunting." I said, "Okay." And he says, I said, "I don't have a gun." He says, "Go in his office behind his door." So I get the rifle, and we go down the street, and I didn't get no rules, right? So I'll make this quick as I can. So Dale Jr. puts me up in this stand. He says, "I'll meet you back here at dark." He went to a stand, and all of a sudden, there's a big corn pile. In Massachusetts, you can't hunt over corn. So
Right.
So I see a corn pile at the end of the thing, and here comes a 3-legged doe limping in to eat this corn.
Right.
And I'm looking at it, and it's getting close to dark now. I'm like, well, there's no buck coming, so I'm like, drops down, right?
You shoot the 3-legged
Shoot
doe.
the 3-legged doe. It's never going to make it through the winter.
Right.
Right?
Thinking I just did this
I
thing
just
a
did a
favor.
Favor, right.
So, I walk down. It's dark now, and I meet Dale Jr. at the truck, and he says, "How many points it got?" I'm like, "It's a doe." He says, "You tell him, Daddy, I'm not." I was like, "What?"
What?
So we drive back to the it's a mile down the road. Not even. We drive down back in the farm.
But you can't get pregnant. Go ahead.
Oh, got it.
We drive back down the farm, and he's like, "Who shot?" And I did. And he's like, "How many points?" I'm like, "It's a doe." "It's a what?" Like, I'm like, "It's 3-legged. I'll never make it through the winter." He said, "We don't have a winter in North Carolina." I'm like, you just.
Right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You think I am? Yeah, you're like you're melting, right?
Dale Jr.'s gone.
Yeah, he took off.
Yeah, he's gone. And
I ain't
he's
gonna watch this beating.
Cliff was the farm guy. Says,
Yeah.
"Cliff, get him down there and get that doe." We drive down a truck, and Cliff's silent the whole way there, the whole way back. Didn't say a word. We get it back to the farm, and we open the tailgate, and Dale comes out and shakes his head. He says, "Now what are you gonna do?" I said, "I guess we're gonna skin it." So I hang it up, and I start,
Ever
And
And
again.
then he put me on like 8-point restriction.
Right.
And then I remember he was in the car at Richmond, and it was just for happy hour. And he like this, he comes over and he says, "Seen any deer down there?" I says, "Man, I see a lot of bucks, but no 8-pointers like you said." He's like, "Where you seen the bucks?" I said, "Well, in the morning I hunt up front." He says, "Well, you can shoot one up front even less than that 8-pointer, because if you don't shoot it, my neighbor's going to shoot it."
So he's in the car for happy.
Yeah.
Kind of
So-
great. Good.
But good times, and then
Yeah.
from there it went to being we had the likes of Chad Knaus went through the one car with as kind of the car chief, and then with Felipe Lopez, and Felipe had a couple of his guys, and Steve ended up getting hurt.
Yeah. And Daryl
Daryl filled in, so
jumping
that was made a great friend there too.
Good.
So that was pretty cool, and. So then the one car kind of changed upper management where Philippe was on his way out and Paul Andrews come in,
Yep, crew chief.
and
That's about when I showed up.
yeah, so Paul Andrews came in, and I was pretty much up for the cart chief position because Philippe and a couple of his Philippe left when a couple of his guys went with him.
Yeah.
So I was the mainstay there, and so I got the car chief job, and we ended up being very successful there with Steve, and then Steve got hurt, and
Right. We had a lot of fun. That was a damn good team, man.
yeah, damn good team, damn good. Then Dale Jr. come along and the 8 Budweiser car, and
Right.
Horner Day was down there with the trucks,
That's right.
and Napper, and then Michael, and
The talent all around.
It was a snowball. That was a
I meet people there now or today. They're like, "I worked with you at DEI," and I was like, my memory I really don't have a good memory. But there's some things I remember. But the amount of people that were there and the amount of people we
Right.
had in a different shop. So I know a lot of people work there, and I hate them and I don't know them. But
So the crew chiefing started with when you got elevated.
yeah, I was car chiefing, and then we went through the transition of losing Dale, and at the time Dale Jr. wanted to start a Bush team, and him and Richie Gilmore asked me if I wanted to do it. We talked about Ty earlier. Ty had left, and Richie was in running the place now in the engine shop, and said we're going to call it Chance 2, and that was kind of like Dale's original Busch team for his kids' late model team was Chance, and then this was Chance 2. So that was a Dale Jr. and Teresa deal, and man, I said that'd be amazing, incredible.
That's good stuff right there, because not a lot of people know that. I didn't know what Chance 2 was. Chance 2, but that's good.
So I was car chiefing on the one, and then at nights we were building with help from the Uries, building the Gossamer cars, the 8 cars. Which I guess that was 2002. I think.
So both you were getting chassis from Hutchison Peg.
Yeah.
And both of them got put on my surface plate.
Right.
With myself, Tim Clements, and Mike Rout,
Right.
I think.
There you go.
And the bodies came off, and I ended up working with Harold Holly at at RCR for a little while. And the compliment I got was that those cars looked like spaceships, like because they were cup bodies. We essentially tried to put cup bodies on his Busch cars, and he went and just wore them out.
Yeah, so that was
those were beautiful. That was good stuff.
So, and then from there we said we're going to go part-time racing the following year, which we did some racing. We was able to do a lot of really cool things with Dale Jr. and car, and man, we worked a lot of hours and just had fun. The group of guys that we assembled, and we have to give a shout out to Sammy Gonzalez.
Absolutely.
I just text Diane 24th of January, so I'm thinking about you today. One of my all-time best friends, best work guy I've ever had.
So, and I think when we all, whenever we hear his name or that I always see his smile on his face, and how, he was never Sammy was so happy-go-lucky that you would not believe. He was never mad. Don't think I ever seen him mad. And that's what I loved about it. I just.
So people know Sammy Gonzalez we're talking about. He was a crew member, DEI. He came here with Ron Hornaday, and then he had with Bono and Martin Truex, and he lost the battle with cancer. 6 years. And my favorite memory is you and I had the same observation. They'd be working in the garage all day. Where'd Sammy go? And Sammy's over there talking to people at the fence. He just loved people. And they'd ask him questions, and he'd be like talking. He worked very hard, but he's a storyteller. He's a storyteller. and detail. And so he would he would be like he wanted to connect with those people because they'd ask him questions, and he wanted to make them feel special and included. So
that Chance 2 team with running a few part-time guys and Dale Jr. And then I remember we were in Martin the last 2 races, and we ran second at Rockingham.
I remember that white car.
And then second at Miami. And we weren't geared up to do a full season.
Right.
But we got to take this boy and run for a championship. So that was late December and
03.
So
a lot of success too.
That was 04. 03 was the part-time year.
If you think of the guys, Rich Levette,
Haskell,
Will Lynn, Will Gray.
Will Gray, who's watching,
just the guys that were on that team that moved on to do other things all did do some very great things.
Sure.
Yeah.
So,
Will
you should be proud that you put them together.
And he was at Hendrick Engine.
Yeah.
Hendrick Engine, he's one of the top guys there. So we're talking about you, Will, and he was watching that.
Yeah.
So 04.
So 04 we ran for the.
So when did they tell you you're going to be the crew chief with Martin Truex?
I think after we run second in 2 races, we got to run for a championship. So.
I remember Richmond, the all-white car, and all of a sudden he's leading, and I'm like,
broke a transmission.
I'm like, holy shit, this kid's leading. It's his first race, first.
Yeah.
Busch race. I'm like, okay, this is pretty cool. Maybe it was a fluke. And then Homestead.
Yeah.
And then 04 is like full time. Boom. Johnny Morris jumps on with Bass Pro Shops. And, end of the year, we're clinching at Rockingham.
Yeah.
Was it Rockingham?
Yeah.
Darlington.
Darlington.
Sorry, Darlington, yeah.
A week early.
Yeah, we did a week early, so got that out of the way.
Back in the day when you could do a week early.
Exactly,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah.
Back
And
then.
then there was 04, then 05.
05 we repeated with the same group of
Yep.
guys, really. Joey,
Remember that?
Will, Russell, Haskell,
Piece of crap PR guy that I got thrown into.
Josh
Yeah,
was there. Then
Josh was there,
then
and
he
then-
superseded. So
So I got.
and I know I'm missing a couple
Oh, that's
guys.
fine.
There was Picker guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big Dummy.
Right.
Mark Kennerly, Jeff.
Ketterly, oh my God. Yeah.
Ryan Basaglio.
Dave Knight.
Yeah.
Dave, I forgot about Dave.
See,
you go.
I work with him at Penske. I
Yeah.
don't get to see him anymore because he's on first time on set, but Dave
Yeah,
Knight.
yeah.
Right.
Dave Knight was a fabricator.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of guys that
Yeah.
were on that team that was, like I said, that was
It pumped out a
some-
lot of successful
yeah,
people
some good
and,
stuff.
and talented people.
I had never worked on a race team before in my life. So when I started at the guys 02, 03, doing the website and all that stuff, and then 04, Josh, or 05, Josh was doing the PR, and all of a sudden he said, "I'm going to go sell buses."
yeah.
And I'll never forget, Dale Jr. walks into the communication office. He goes, "Hey, Packman, congratulations, you're the new PR guy." And he walked out. I go, "Good talk." And that's how that all started.
Yeah.
Those were some of the best ever, because you guys were nuts, but it was so fun nuts. Like, you're
Yeah.
sitting there going, "These guys are crazy," but my God, I just remember like championships.
Oh,
you
I
know?
forgot,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, I worked with Jan and
You did both races
Penske.
at the same time we did. Yeah.
Yeah. And Griechi was there as my
Yeah,
stenographer.
Griechi,
Yeah,
right,
like
yeah.
Ricci.
But
Great
you
guy.
were talking. It was just at the Honor Corvette. That's when it was in its heyday. That's when it was like, we'd show up at restrictor plate races, and he was like, "Okay, who's going to finish second or third?" And Martin went back to back 04, 05, and maybe one day we'll get those things you get.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Back pay? Are you talking?
No, back rings.
Rings.
Yeah, but it's
Championship
back
rings.
pay. They can't. What are they going to do?
Yeah. Anyhow, that's,
Anyhow,
Yeah.
that's just a joke.
It's
anyhow.
water under the bridge, as
Yeah,
I
we're
say.
still not
Well,
happy about it.
I do have a ring out there on Facebook. Someone was selling it, and actually, I talked to the guy multiple times.
Yeah.
He wanted me just
Selling your ring?
Well, I lost it through my somewhere along
Okay,
the line.
gotcha.
Right.
Got borrowed.
Understood. Understood.
Yeah, I've lost
So
some rings, too.
I've talked to him. He just texted me over Christmas. He said, "I want to make a donation to a charity." I said, "What charity? How much you want?"
Yeah.
Right.
I want my ring back.
Right.
That was a Daytona ring. Or
Okay. So let's get that. So now you're
so we're at DEI, and
Yeah.
we go
Start
cup
merging
Then we know we
start
went cup
merging.
racing with Martin.
we had like Warren talked about earlier. We had Paul Menard there as our Bush teammate. We had Menards, which I turned into a great relationship later on through the modified stuff
Absolutely.
with John Menard and Paul. But the company took a couple mergers. First with the Ginn merger, which
Yeah.
was like
Got really weird, I'll say.
weird, and that was kind of like a takeover. We were taking them over, and then we kind of got taken over by
over.
Ganassi. It
Right.
seemed like the other way, where we were the odd man out, but it worked out. When Martin left, I was talking with Ty Norris once again to go to Waltrips, and kind of got a little bit shafted there, but I was okay with that. I wasn't at the time, but I believe in all things happen for a reason. I believe there's a
Absolutely.
plan from the higher up above. So talking with Chip, and he says, "Hey man, I'm going to get Jamie McMurray. What do you think?" And I'm like, "Yep, sounds good." Martin's leaving. Well, we did a season with Martin.
Right.
At
Yeah,
Ganassi.
yeah.
At Ganassi, and Chip's. I learned a lot from Chip.
Sat on a pole for
Sat
a
on the
Daytona
pole
500.
our first. I actually, funny story. I just got that pole-winning picture. It's 8 foot wide and like 12 or 16 foot high. It took a trailer to deliver it. So the guys at Ganassi texted me last week.
That's good. I don't want one.
They're remodeling. So it was
They're remodeling, all right.
So Gary actually dropped it off. It was the pole-winning Daytona picture.
Right.
So that was good. Like we had a great season with Martin, but Martin, he went through a lot with his contract stuff, and it was time for him to move on, and
How tough is that? I mean, because
it was tough,
you
because
guys work together.
I thought I was at the time. I thought I was going with him.
Right.
B, I still had a contract with Chip. I talked to
Right.
Chip about it, and ironically enough, I asked Chip about the owner that was there, that Rob Kaufman, and Chip said he's strong, and now he's partners with him, right?
Right.
So I didn't want to go somewhere, but Chip says, "Man, you work for me," and I'm like, "Okay." And he did pay me, so I
Okay.
had to listen.
Right.
But But I also, like my deal with Waltrip and all that at night and working through all that secret stuff, it just never panned out. So we take Jamie, we go win the first race, and then we had a lot of good people on that team. Gary Putnam, Randall Burdett was successful crew chief now, was an engineer and racer, and we all were racer. Gary is a racer, Randall, myself, and the rest of the guys on the team too. So.
Okay, let's go.
I forgot about Russell, man.
Russell Love Muscle?
Yeah, on the
he's,
Busch
he's the most successful tire guy in the
country.
Exactly, in the country, yes.
He is the head of.
And he'll tell you. No, I'm just kidding. He's great. Let's go back to the 500 because we are coming up on Speed Weeks.
Yeah.
Your best memory, like when it's coming down and you realize, holy shit, I'm about to win the Daytona 500 as a crew chief, knowing that your name's forever etched in history, and you get your own trophy for that.
That I did.
Yes. What? And your own jacket.
He knew he was getting to go to Yaya.
Yeah.
It's a place in Daytona that's not a strip joint.
I don't think we want to go there today. They might have changed the flag.
What do you remember of that whole, like, when it's coming down to the end? Do you have a memory of that? Cause
I remember putting my head in my lap and for a whole lap. Holy shit! I can't believe this, and then just having fun and just cheering and going to Yaya's.
Going to Yaya.
Yeah.
So we all went to Yaya's, and
which is a bar,
a local drinking establishment.
In Daytona. It's the end of Dunlawton Bridge. It's not what you would call the upper crust type thing, but that's where real people, real racers go. As long as you can park the smoke when you walk in.
The joke for us guys was, and the guys who went there is how. Back then, the football players would say, "What are you doing after the Super Bowl?" "I'm going to Disneyland." We would say, "I'm going to Yaya."
Exactly.
That was our kind of our thing.
We stayed at the White something.
Yeah, we
White
stayed across the street,
and we get there early in July, and we would just have too much fun. The Budweiser truck would show up there and deliver. God, I don't know, whatever it was. Like all the tubs were filled, like the bathtubs were filled with beer. I didn't partake in any of that, Mom.
So, that was year 2010, and that was an amazing season for myself and that team.
Absolutely.
It was the Brickyard that year too.
The Brickyard, and we ran second and I think we're the rule of when you're in the chase, because we never made the chase because we had a lot of engine failures towards the end of the year. Or a lot of problems, I would say, engine failures. But we ran second at Chicago, we ran second at Darlington, we ran second in the Coke 600, which would have been really cool to win because Chip was knocking on my back as we were leading and running second. He just won the Indy 500, and he flew.
That day.
It would have been, that really would have been
a crown jewel for him.
Yeah.
Huge.
So, but we do have that crown jewel as a deal. But
that's good.
But so that was a couple years with Jamie and then I don't know, engineering. I wasn't that.
I know where you're going.
I never turned the page, on that, and I kind of.
You went with your instincts.
Still more the stick and pencil type of guy, stick ruler.
Well, so here's what I'll say about it.
It worked for you.
Well, I mean,
it worked for you so well.
Here's what I say about it.
There was changes at Ganassi too, but that year 2010, we also entered 3 modified races and won 3 modified races. So I mean,
by being a gut stick and pencil guy.
Yeah. So Steve Laletta got our own T-shirts made 3-peat, and then we had 3 wins with the Cup car, and then he made T-shirts for the modified. So between Gary and I and the guys that helped on that modified and Newman driving, it was 2010 by far the best year all around racing wise for me. But like I said, so Busch days at DEI was chance 2 was off the hook, just best time of my life, really. Looking back at it, the people I forget, the people we lost, and then so I was basically Chip Ganassi told me I have 1 year left on my contract, and we sat down and talked and come up with a couple different ideas, and he let me go work for one of my best friends, the kid I moved down here with, Tommy Baldwin. He was at starting. He had his race team, and he actually had somewhat of a sponsor and a driver with Pilot Flying J and Michael Annette, we ran that whole season, and actually was pretty successful and did pretty well. So I was happy that Chip let me go there and kind of pay some of my salary, and Tommy's pay some of my salary, which was good through the transition years of getting ready to go truck racing, because you're used to making this much money in the heyday, and then but like I said early in this show, I've been always pretty smart with my money, except buying a damn motorhome, but.
I never bought one of them.
But it was good times, like I said,
Right.
we had some good times in the coach lab. But getting back to just finishing out the cup days of my racing, was ended with Ganassi, and like I said, Chip was always good to me. Never can't say a bad thing about him. Like was did me right. Did a couple years with Tommy, and that was cool. That's a game changer when you're driving at these tracks. Every once in a while, people need to remember that that there's more than just a jet engine. There's a van, a long Dodge van that you would jump in with Tommy. But and then it was
this you every now and again, and you have to step back,
right,
and you have to realize that you're not the best. Because it's happened to me. I'm the greatest, I'm Superman, and then you get all of a sudden, boom, you get fired, and you get let go or something, and you have to take a step back and go, wow, maybe I'm not, and it'll humble you in a minute, and there's these peaks and valleys in this thing, and you gotta take what it gives you. I say it.
What's what you learn from it and how you go now. So you're at the Cup level, Daytona 500, Brickyard, Xfinity Championship,
right.
And now, and I don't mean it's bad way, but I remember I ran into you one time. We were talking in the garage, and I go, "How's it going?" He said, "I got to tell you, man, people don't realize how good they have it there, and I hope they all appreciate what they have."
Yeah.
And he goes, "Not this is bad, but when you go and you make that transition, I'm still working, but it brings you like, okay, this, and you said these guys over there still going on without me, and you think you're supposed to be part of that, but you're not."
Yeah.
And I've been there too.
Now I almost. For me, I look at what he's doing with this truck deal.
Amazing.
And I think about this, and I'm like, God, man, I'm under so much pressure at work, and I got to do this, and I got to do that. And I'm almost ready to go. Like, I'd love to go truck racing, and be back to normal. I
think it's gonna come around again. Really, I did do a short stint with Petty and worked for the King for a little bit, so that was pretty cool.
That's good.
I ran into Sammy John's.
2 7-time champions.
I ran into Sammy John's because Tommy's shop was by there, and I said, "Man, you guys always out of here at 4 o'clock." I said, "You have a job for me," because Tommy told me to start looking because he really couldn't pay me no more. I said, "Man, you got a job like working in a shop, setting cars up, pulling something down, packing hubs. I mean, I just want anything."
Yeah.
And he called me like 10 minutes later. He says, "Come meet me in the spring room." We were at Talladega. He says, I got something for you. Can you have lunch on Monday?" I said, "Yeah." So I go to lunch, and there's Dale Inman, Sammy Johns, and Sam Hornish.
Jeez. And
I told him I did not want to be a crew chief. He says, "No, man." And so that I had like a 2-year contract in front of me. I said, "No, absolutely not. I want." So I said, "I'll work to the end of the year." And we missed making the top 25 in points by 3 points. It was like 30-something points when we started. But
you're like, I'm not laying back down on the couch again.
That was my last. That was the last Cup deal, and then I went to Costa Rica fishing for the winter.
Yeah, good for you.
Nice.
And
you got to clear it, right? You got to get.
That was compliments of the Truexes, Barney Truex and Martin Truex Sr. and
a lot of clams in that place.
A lot of clams. They are very, very good people.
And awesome people.
Very
awesome people.
So then it was. I went and talked to Kyle Busch at Homestead, and about building me a chassis for a K&N car because I got to be a team owner, right? I run some modifieds. I can go run K&N.
Yeah.
Right.
And he said, "Man, you don't want to do that. You want to come crew chief a truck." And I'm like, "Not really." So I go crew chief a couple years at Kyle's. And at the same time, I built my K&N team.
Right.
And that was really the first job I got. Really, like Kyle fired me, called me up his office, and said, "Man, I'm fired."
Really?
And that to me was an eye opener, like big time, right?
Doesn't that suck?
And so the only saving to that is I ran into him at a test a short time later, a truck test. in December. I said, man, I kind of know what happened, and he told me, and I said, okay, and I apologize. I said, I'm sorry for not being all in. I was trying to start my K&N team.
Okay, got it. So
And
I just made too much money.
never had that problem.
But what was, so I went to work, after long consideration, I went to work for David Gillen, and a whole nother awesome guy, great
Right.
team. Started a truck team there, almost won our 4th race with Kyle Benjamin, run 2nd at Martinsville, should have won. But I got offered a job back to go to Kyle's.
Really?
So that made me feel
Okay,
really good,
good.
because I
You know it wasn't you. You knew it
Well,
wasn't
I mean,
something. You knew it wasn't something you were doing wrong.
Yeah, so, but a couple years at David's and got that team up and going, the truck team, you know. It was just a lot of work and a lot of hours, and not that I'm afraid of that, but I missed a lot in my kids' lives.
Sure.
My wife, my kids were kind of suffering, so I took a job at GMS.
What year did you start there?
2 years ago.
Okay.
They called me. I didn't call them, so I went and listened, and it was for Zane, and I met them for lunch. And so now Mike Beam runs a tight ship up there, and 7 to 4, 5 days a week. We got enough people. We do it right.
Good.
It's a great place to work. Maury Gallagher, you know, everything. I can't
Yeah,
say
Maury.
I can't say a bad thing about David Gillen's. I'd go back there today. You know, like I really liked working there. It was just my time. I went there because we were only doing a partial truck schedule,
yeah.
but we ran so good we kept adding
Adding more races.
It's
Screwed
snowball.
up on me. You did it again. You added more to your plate. Yeah.
I did end up running one K&N race that I
Right,
couldn't even
okay.
go to. My wife Elizabeth went with
Yeah.
Slugger. Slugger was my team manager. My wife was running.
Thanks. Okay.
Doug Chenard, good friend of mine, we
Yeah.
lost him last year too. He went and helped out, but Ben Kennedy actually drove.
Well, that's right. I
And
remember that,
there was
yeah.
only 2 people that led in the race. Our car with Ben, and then
Right.
Todd Gillen. Todd ended up winning, but I think we had some form at the end where there was a late caution,
Right.
and they red flagged at 7 to go, and we sat down on and it airlocked.
Oh, okay.
So that we didn't get rolling, so they put us last in the
Okay.
lap. So I got a whole check for $2,500 after I spent probably well over $100 to build this car. So
Wow.
I don't know if this is my cup of tea, but once again, Menards was a big part of that and helped
Glory of
me.
ownership, right?
with-
Yeah. Good.
Menards has been a great sponsor of
Yeah.
mine throughout the year, so I wouldn't. We got any time left? I hear it.
Yeah, I know. That's,
We're gonna go-
we're
we're
going
going
over
over
folks
we don't
because you
care.
got okay. So talk about Zane Smith. I mean, talk about this. So,
So
here you
Zane-
are. Here you are with all your experience, all your accomplishments, and here comes this young kid, good racer, and he's got to look at you like you're my crew chief. This is like unbelievable.
So I got Zane. He was in through them days of DGR Gillen and DGR Crosley. We needed a fill-in race, a driver. Last minute, Zane Smith, because we were doing a double at St. Louis.
Right.
So they brought a seat over like 9 o'clock at night. We bolted her in there. We get the truck loaded, which was nothing new to work 9 to midnight there,
Right.
you know. Down the road we go. We run 5th in the race. Zane's mom and dad was there. They were really excited. We're going to do this again. Never heard a peep, another word from them, you know, really, until they called to come up there to GMS. So it worked out really well, and like I said, 2nd in the points last year. 1, 2, 3 finish. So
Yeah.
Zane is on it. You
He
know.
seems like he's the real deal
He is. He's committed
because he's young. You know, that young driver talent.
He's got the opposite problem I got. I'm trying to lose weight. He's trying to gain it. He doesn't understand how us heavy guys can eat 4,000 calories a day. He's like, there's no way. I said, I can do 2,500 at practice.
And you throw in 90 on this,
Yeah.
101 on that. Yeah, there you go.
He can't eat. So he can't eat like 2 Big Macs or something.
Oh, no.
So I got to say something. So it's kind of like, and
And I'm not saying that that's a good calorie to
Yeah.
eat, but
I'm just sitting there thinking. So it's kind of like you look at Zane Smith and you're like, here's Martin Truex all over again.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
and I just thought about that because when you started with him and where that went, now you have
Same demeanor, really
Really?
quiet.
Okay, got it.
Man, Zane has never yelled once yet. You know what I mean?
Really?
Never once. Martin might have
Good on the
yelled
radio?
once in a couple. Yeah. I mean, it's all good. I got a really good team up there now, comparable to the Bush days. You know,
Right.
and
Nice.
it's almost the feeling
Very
too.
nice.
You know, how the schedule works and
Right.
yeah.
and how everyone works on it, and you can still manipulate the trucks a little bit. You know, you actually can you can do a few things without.
Yeah, you can
getting
work on
arrested,
them without
you know?
going to jail.
Yeah.
Right.
So
So now, okay, so now we're talking about the truck series. So they announced today that they're going to go to 40
okay,
entries.
news to me.
Okay, all right. Yeah.
We do have a call in tomorrow morning.
Okay,
so
got it, right.
like I said,
Right.
we did 40 last year, a little bit.
Well, I know, but now they said they're going to go to 40, and if there's no rain out, or if there's a qualifying rain out, whatever, they might go to 43. So I was kind of like,
Do the trucks have the whole medallion thing and all of that going on, like the cup? I mean, is there a
charter?
charter?
No, nothing like that.
I mean, if you don't have any points and
Right.
you show up, is it? Because I have no idea.
So there's no charge. So you just got to make it. you know.
Okay.
And we sent
everybody's on time.
Right.
So, yeah. We sent trucks home last year, and then they changed this. Then trucks got locked in.
Right.
That could even more trucks wanted to come and couldn't come because they weren't locked in
Okay.
because of no qualifying COVID. So
It's amazing how we used to fight to get teams, and now in the last year or so,
It's getting.
Yeah.
This is.
all right. So we've all been around. We've talked. What's your opinion? Is I'm not putting you on the spot, but I am. Is the sport going in a upward direction?
Are we
you think?
going vertical?
I don't answer them.
Okay, it's fine.
questions.
Okay,
Honestly,
I mean,
I was happy to come tonight if you didn't talk politics.
okay,
or
no, that's fine.
No.
No, I just thought because
No.
you're talking
We're
about
good.
we're having too many.
We won't talk
all
about
these teams. I just figuring out him while I'm sitting.
I think
That's
we're
fine.
going up. That's all I think.
You know, the sport's obviously in a huge change with that car
Yeah.
coming.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right.
I know just enough about that car to get in trouble with it. You know, like I ask people questions. I've seen some pictures.
Sure.
You know, have you got a car yet? Nope.
Right.
When are you getting one? I don't know. You know, so the sport is strong. The truck series is strong. That's
Yeah.
all I really. That's where I concentrate now.
Well, that's kind of
my
what
time.
I should have.
No, I know about the
Okay,
car.
I'm
I
trying-
know about that.
Yeah.
stuff. We're
Yeah,
gonna
who
probably
would?
get. We're gonna probably get one in May. Everybody's stuff has been homologated, so there's all of our body stuff is done with
Yeah.
Martin Tunnel, and we got to get parts.
Yeah.
The biggest thing they're worried about is us getting us parts
Yeah.
Right.
because of COVID.
Yeah.
And the cars, it's a done deal.
Yeah.
And is it going to be bad? I don't think so. Is it going to be harder to drive? Absolutely.
Oh, you're going to lose your job.
I don't think so.
Oh, well, there you go. Somebody is, right?
So there's going to be people that lose their jobs. Absolutely.
That's where I think the truck series is going to come back and get stronger.
So here's what I say about it. If you can multitask, if all you do, so here's what our sport's become, and you know this. I put the right front crush panel in. If that's all you do, you're going to lose your job.
Better worry about the other.
If you can't put the right front crush panel in, the left rear, if you panels in, the window, go help them put the motor in,
Right.
and maybe put the deck lid on or something, you're going to lose your job.
Yeah.
If
Well, that's what we do in the truck series. We do it all.
exactly.
So how many guys do you have on your team?
It's six.
6.
6 that travel, 6 that work in a shop.
Okay,
Okay,
so as a truck number,
Right.
per number, in your how many people would you say work on your truck number? Like, so you have 4 trucks up there, right?
5.
5.
So
So
each team has 6 people.
6.
So when we leave, basically,
How many people are up there total? Is
I
there
don't know.
400?
But
No.
on your team.
Right.
Okay, so you.
So when we leave, when we go to Daytona, what's in our shop
Right.
is 2 suspension guys, a shop foreman, a water, a wet guy, radiators,
Yeah, but-
which is
Okay,
which is a
Yeah.
mechanic,
Right.
2 decal people,
Yep.
and that's it. And then up at the fab shop, there's I think 1 or 2 people in the decal shop.
Mhm.
Then there's the whole GMS Fab, which is basically a separate entity. Where they do work for us. How many people up
They're
there?
just-
There's 3.
You're just building your truck.
There's 2 plates. There's 3 body hangers on each plate. There's 1 chassis plate. There's 2
Right.
guys there. They do ARCA cars. They do customer trucks. You know.
I'm gonna say it like this: when I came, I came down here. I got a job at Pansky Cranifus. Okay, and the other day I took a notepad and I wrote down everybody who worked there for the 12 car with Jeremy Mayfield. There was 35 of us there with the people in with our secretaries, with the carpet.
They call it carpet land.
Yeah.
Right. So there's 35 people per car
Right.
number.
Yeah.
And I don't think this is out of line.
No.
Yeah.
You know, because we would get. I'd make the balances. I'd put the windows in.
Right.
You know, I mean, you just have to do everything.
Right.
You know, I call it a roofer. What do? I work from the roof down.
Right.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
So the truck series, I think it's becoming stronger and stronger because the talent pool is now, and you have new guys like Zane, and they have to create. How do I say it? From my end, the promotional PR side, you have to create a racer out of this that people want to follow.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas before you've had Hornaday come down, Benson come down, Skinner coming down, Todd Bodine, and now you've got these guys that you can build up and make them.
Yeah.
Question for you: if you won a championship on the truck series, it would mean just as much as everything else, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
Fresh.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a new day, right?
Right.
Yeah.
It's a new time, but like I said, you have memories that'll last a lifetime,
Right.
and we all worked at DEI, and
Great.
a lot of people there, and there's a lot of memories that come out of there. You know, there's nothing.
And one thing I would say about DI, and I know we're coming up on 20 years of losing him, the bond that we all had was just unbelievable. I didn't know no place I've ever worked before that we had that like we were all sewn together, and we always will be. Right
Yeah.
there.
Yep. For
Sorry, I
sure.
go emotional. 20 years.
It's crazy.
Hey, you know what? Thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
It was fun.
This
Appreciate
was
you,
awesome.
buddy.
Thank you.
Yeah, we didn't get
And-
to no questions, but
Well, I threw a few in there, but there's
Yeah,
just
I was just kidding. I was
that's
just
fine.
kidding.
That's right. There was a few, but we took care of them.
But
Real
I-
quick before we end,
I guess
where does Bono come from? Kevin Bono.
I'm
man?
always save that for the next show.
Oh, we're
Yeah,
gonna know
he's
it.
never
That's-
told me.
Oh, really?
I've known this guy since 1997.
Really?
He's
I never
told
asked you
me.
before.
He won't
We'll
tell
save
me.
it for the next
Okay, that's fine. We'll have to, when you win the championship,
Part
we'll bring
two.
it back on.
Yeah, there
Yeah, you gonna
Part
bring
two.
lobsters for us or something?
No, he's up there. Hey, thank you very much, man. I appreciate
No,
it.
he's got a
sorry,
seafood.
it's fine.
He's
Thank
got
you.
a seafood
Oh,
connection.
wait. Wow. She's got to finish last beer. We got to do the closing of the show. Oh,
Yeah, go get one. Go pull one.
Go,
That's an $800 shifter handle that I got from Childress.
on your $64 keg.
Well, it was a prototype one. They were gonna throwing that away. Get on my
$800.
kegerator.
Perfect.
I think Richard was looking for it.
Oh, folks, real quick, don't forget Lake Norton Patio Game Rooms. Go check them out. Great
Yeah,
stuff.
Brad.
He's going to be on the car, Rich Pickle's car. And don't forget, we have merchandise, folks. We're trying not to throw it down. Race season coming up. You want to be one of the cool kids watching racing? Check out our website, merchandise. There you go. That was a shameless plug. Cheers. Here we
All
go.
right, cheers.
Here we do our usual.
Say goodnight, Dick.
Good night, Dick.
Good night, Dick.
Wow. Hey, another great show.
Great
Thank
show.
you so much, everybody,
Yep.
for tuning
Enjoyed
in.
it.
We appreciate it. We do this every Tuesday night. And Warren, I think the guests we've had have been fantastic.
Phenomenal.
And the people that are following us, we appreciate it. We're reaching 42,000 people a month. Can you believe that? And we appreciate you watching. And
We're having fun. Hope everybody else enjoys it.
that's it. And it's just a fun show. Bucket of beer. Guys sitting around talking about it. So keep tuning in. We appreciate it. Check out our store and everything. But we appreciate you people. And we will see you next week. Right, my friend?
Yes, sir.
All right. See you next week.